Holiday Special.
Did you guys know that you're all wearing holiday sweaters like a bunch of jerks?
It's the holiday season.
Yeah,
You're wearing one too.
My grandma made me this.
Oh.
That's pretty weird.
She's been dead for 5 years.
Oh my God!
We watched the Star Wars Holiday Special.
What holiday special?
The Star Wars Holiday Special. Sorry, we need
They
to be
made a
more
Star Wars
specific.
Holiday Special.
They made a Star Wars Holiday
We
Special.
watched it a couple hours ago.
So like George Lucas has repeatedly said that he hates it and wants it erased from history, though the showrunner, the person who was on set producer, is adamant that they sent George Lucas dailies.
Yeah.
And he had to approve everything, and he did.
Here's how George Lucas approved those, though. They came in, they had a monitor, they wheeled it up to him, and he was like looking at his like bank account information, and he said, "Oh, it's fine."
And the numbers kept going up. So
Yeah,
he said,
yeah.
okay.
That's good.
This reminds me of something they did, though, like a behind-the-scenes thing from Attack of the Clones, and the CGI people are working on Yoda. And so they want to know what color blood Yoda has, because you'll see it through his ear. And they asked George, what color is Yoda's blood? And George was like, green? He doesn't know what he's doing.
He has no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Stamp.
Yeah.
Stamp.
Whatever.
I mean, in his defense, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You just lost everybody.
Sometimes there just needs to be a person to make that call. And you know, he doesn't, who cares what color Yoda's blood is, right? Like, in his defense in that specific situation, sometimes just a call needs to be made and that's his job to make that call. So yeah, it's green,
Well,
whatever.
That's,
you know.
that's how the holiday special happens. He doesn't give a shit, really. It's probably doubly awkward because there's probably a tall man in that costume.
So much licensing and marketing and toys and everything was happening with Star Wars around that period, post the success of Star Wars in theaters. I'm sure he just didn't care at all. But really, do we know who was responsible? Like, there's a whole
There's a
bunch
director
of,
attached.
There's a director. There's a whole
doubt
bunch
he's
of
listed.
names. But is there a singular vision behind the Star Wars holiday special?
No, this is directed by name withheld upon request.
Yeah.
It has a director. It has a series of producers. I'm sure a couple of writers. But really, like, who was the guy or the gal who said, "I think that a Star Wars holiday special should be utter nonsense"? Was there someone?
Somebody wanted to make money off Star Wars.
Who was the one that said?
A producer.
Okay, who was the one that said, "No, we can't have like"?
Nobody said no. It's clear from watching it, nobody said no.
Okay, but who said we want this to appeal to no one?
Don't do it, Lumpy. You've got so much to live for. Lumpy, no. He just realized he's in the Star Wars holiday special.
That's the actor trying to kill himself.
Just keep filming it.
At least someone with a brain would say, let's let this appeal to younger people. Younger people like Christmas songs. They like, they don't like Bea Arthur. It's mind-boggling how miscalculated this was.
They're really dragging this out.
Yeah, it goes on forever.
What if this could be Lucas just fucking around with everyone?
Let's see what we can get away
Like, can we air 20 minutes of Chewie noises? And they let him.
It just seems bizarre to me that how big Star Wars was. That it seems like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of other celebrity talent.
Maybe all the money went to Carrie Fisher's Coke.
But how big was-
Alleged Coke. She, it's alleged by Carrie Fisher herself that she had a Coke problem around the time of this special. Nothing's confirmed except for Carrie Fisher herself, but we don't want to
She's strong
draw.
with more coke than Jabba ate frogs. But it's still alleged. It's alleged that Jabba ate 28 frogs a day.
Mark Hamill looks like a mannequin in this movie. We theorize, or do we know for sure if this was after the accident?
Well, just looking at his face, I'm assuming it's after. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
He looks like crap!
Come on, Mala, let's see a little smile. Come on.
Oh, is that what that is?
For people who don't know, go ahead.
Between the filming of Star Wars and Empire, Mark Hamill was in a horrible car accident that ruined his face.
It turned him into the Joker.
Yeah.
That's a bad joke. That's a joke in poor taste.
Thank you.
Basically, the accident fucked up his face, and that's why in the beginning of Empire, the first thing that happens to Luke is he gets hit in the face by a giant monster.
Yes.
But he didn't look...
Wait, Carrie Fisher hit him in the face?
So in the Star Wars special, he has so much makeup on his face and his hair is over his forehead where they are covering something up, absolutely. Okay. So this is after accident.
They didn't want to put him in too much of the Star Wars Holiday Special, possibly because of the accident, I don't know. So they just put him in charge of the smoke machine.
I gotta get back to this engine. I think we might have it solved.
No! R2! What are you doing? Watch that, will you?
What is going on with all the smoke?
Luke is in charge of the smoke machine.
It's not working.
It's not working properly.
That's comedy.
He said have a whole bunch of smoke in front of my face.
Yeah.
Because I just got mauled by Carrie Fisher.
You saying
Allegedly.
the car accident was like a cover?
Yep.
Like Mark,
someone
Mark
just
Hamill spilled some Coke on his cheek, and Carrie Fisher just went
He was playing hide the Coke with Carrie Fisher. And she mauled him.
She won.
Yeah.
If you move across the hair that's on his forehead, you see like nose indentations.
Well, if we're talking about the original cast of Star Wars with this movie, the other one that's in this, of course, is Harrison Ford.
All of you are an important part of my pal. I'm glad I could be here.
We see on camera the moment when he stopped caring about acting.
All day that
Wake up, Harrison! Wake up!
At this moment, Harrison Ford realized he was too good for this. That's the point where he gave up. Yeah. That's why he was supposed to die off.
The absolute second when he said, fuck this, I'm phoning it in from here on out.
Here on out.
After that, he was always working around the clock.
I already work around the clock.
So the big question is what happens in the Star Wars Holiday Special? Jay, what's going on?
Well, there's a whole, basically like a framework to hang. It's a variety show. And so the framework that all the little skits are hung on is Chewbacca is trying to get home to his family.
I know your family's waiting.
I know it's an important day.
And Life Day is a holiday in which they do something.
This holiday is yours, but we all share with you the hope that this day brings us closer to freedom and to harmony and to peace. No matter how different we appear, we're all the same in our struggle against the powers of evil and darkness. I hope that this day will always be a day of joy in which we can reconfirm our dedication and our courage, and more than anything else, our love for one another. This is the promise of the Tree of Life.
So they spent all their money getting all the main Star Wars actors.
That's possible.
For one day. All we got left is Harvey Korman money. Bea Arthur.
Hey,
for an
don't poo-poo
afternoon.
Harvey Korman. You poo-poo Bea Arthur.
Harvey Korman was not in the most successful movie ever made.
I have poo-pooed Bea Arthur. The Golden Shower Girl? I've been there.
2 Golden Girls, 1 Depends.
There you go. There you go. That's nice.
This is the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Yes.
Which was a cartoon character.
Well, we've discussed the overall story.
He was also in a cartoon.
What?
It's a cartoon character. He was also in the cartoon and the thing.
What? What?
Who is that?
We've talked about Life Day. We've talked about Han Solo and Carrie Fisher being out of her mind on Blow. So finally,
Is Life Day a little too close to Kwanzaa?
Well, I think Life Day is a few weeks earlier, so they're not that close.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So this entire time that Han Solo and Chewbacca are trying to get back to the Wookiee planet for Life Day, Stormtroopers show up.
Star Wars are here! Yay! The Star Wars happened.
Star Wars came, everybody.
Oh.
At the Chewbacca, we don't get their last names ever. They all just have first names.
The Bacas.
The Bacas? The Bacas residents.
Malabaca, Itchy Baca, and Chewbacca.
And Lumpy Baca?
Lumpy.
Lumpy Baca.
That's
Lumpy
a
and
bad
Stinky
name.
Baca.
Lumpy Baca is a bad name.
Lumpy-
That kid probably
Lumpy
gets picked
Baca
on.
sounds like some kind of cancer. All I know is they didn't bring up Life Day.
It's a
and-
Wookiee cancer. You have a lumpy Baca.
Oh no.
So then Stormtroopers show up and they're searching their house for some reason. I don't know
There's
why.
no reason yet. Why do they suspect that this Wookiee family is rebel time?
I don't give a shit.
But then Han Solo and Chewbacca show up without any sort of setup. Chewbacca just kind of runs into frame.
The Imperial officer leaves one stormtrooper behind
Yes.
and says, stay and kind of point your gun at people, but never kill anyone.
No sounds.
No. Oh, you died.
That's what I like at my Christmas specials. Death!
Thankfully, the stormtrooper exposed a completely faulty banister, which could have killed Scratchy, Itchy, and Poochie.
That's true.
All the members of the Wookiee family all could have just leaned on that balcony and have it collapse.
Well, they established earlier that Itchy, what's the kid? Lumpy?
Lumpy.
Oh, Itchy's the grandpa. The grandpa should not be walking on the railing, but Lumpy does.
Lumpy
they
was,
established
like,
that
hanging out
earlier.
on it, yeah.
He's like he could have just fallen. That whole thing could have just collapsed.
It was a very, very flimsy railing.
Yes.
Which, when you live 1,000 feet up in the trees, you want good railings.
I would think so.
Good railings are crucial.
Yeah.
Though this might be the first time in Star Wars we've ever seen a railing.
Although Carrie Fisher did lots of rails after.
Fortunately, nobody's going to investigate the dead stormtrooper.
Is this a report about the missing trooper?
It is, sir. Trooper B4711 was here with 3 other men. They left and he remained. As soon as they had gone, he packed a lot of food from this house and he robbed me blind. Then he took off for the hills.
Very well, we'll send out a search party.
He stole food and left.
And he went into the hills?
And they're fine with that.
They're like, yeah, that 3-1B.
This story checks out. I trust you, Art Carney. The commander should have said, "I don't believe anyone stole your food, Art Carney."
The picture you're looking at right now was taken quite a few years ago. That's one of me. I've gained quite a bit of weight since then.
So we were investigating you for rebel connections, and then our trooper just stole your food and went to the hills? I believe that.
Yep, done. Moving on. Move along.
I would say from a...
That was a Star Wars reference.
Move along, yeah, I get it. I would say
Conversation was boring me anyway.
That was also a Star Wars reference.
I get that. That's when Han Solo said that, and before he shot up after he shot up the laser. Yeah. But from a purely bureaucratic sense, the guy, the Imperial guy, probably was just like whatever. We have 150 million stormtroopers. We are ransacking this Wookiee house. and smashing a poor Wookiee child's toys, looking for some sort of vague connection to rebels. Like, okay, one guy's missing. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I have other things to do. And then, yeah.
We have a Death Star to rebuild. Spoiler alert.
We have a Death Star.
Oh, yeah.
to rebuild, yeah. We're already working on that.
So that's the basic story of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
You're forgetting about the thing that makes the Star Wars Holiday Special special is the random entertainment.
Well, that's the thing, is it is essentially a variety show. And what we've talked about is the overall story, because that's the interesting part of it.
If you want to call it that.
All that's left is the variety elements, which are terrible.
What is happening? Itchy or Scratchy or Poochie?
Poochie,
the little baby Wookiee, watched a bunch the very first Lumpy watched the very first Cirque du Soleil concert.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which was Cirque du Solar. Chewbacca's son,
yes,
who
Lumpy.
may or may not have been from a previous marriage, Lumpy, wants
Wait,
to...
is his name really Lumpy?
His name is really Lumpy.
I thought I was making that up as a joke.
No, his name is Lumpy.
They call him Lumpy, and his real name may be Lumbaka, but his family calls him Lumpy.
They call him Lumpy.
Lumpy opens up some kind of thing which is reminiscent of the chessboard from A New Hope.
Yes.
And he's watching holographic humanoids do like a Cirque du Soleil kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's our first introduction of a musical number.
Variety shows are usually like you have a musical guest, or you have a stand-up comic, or you like. I mean, I guess this is supposed to be. Like we're supposed to be entertained by this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so disconnected from the audience where we're not sure
Right.
that we're supposed to be enjoying it or we're supposed to be watching Lumpy enjoy it.
Right.
And that is the downfall.
The point being that nobody's enjoying it. We cut back to Itchy, Lumpy. We cut back to Lumpy, and he's like, and it's like we don't know what he like. If there's no subtitles, so he could be saying this sucks, and we have no idea.
The pitch of this was obviously like, oh, we'll be in the Wookiee house, and the Wookiees have lots of screens or holograms or monitors, and they'll just keep looking at stuff, and then we'll show entertaining things on
Well,
them.
the pitch was we want to do a Bob Hope style Bing Crosby Christmas variety thing.
Sure.
How do we shoehorn that into Star Wars?
Yes.
I know, Wookiees.
We'll be Wookiees, and everything's got to be a TV.
A Grandpa Wookiee will become sexually aroused by a black woman.
Now then, Itchy, I thought you might like this. It's one of those, it's a real, it's kind of hard to explain. It's a, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's porno.
Virtual porn.
That's what. Yeah, he has to watch it in the special chamber where no one else can see what he's watching. They will see him masturbate, but they don't know why. Yeah.
My whole life right now. Reality is sweet.
Star Wars, everybody. Star Wars. Star Wars.
This captures the...
I want to see laser guns, Mommy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Where are the silly droids?
Where's anything?
I want to see spaceships.
Diane Carroll sings something.
Terribly. Well, no, she sings okay.
And
the
it's not
song
just-
is horrible.
Yeah,
It's not
she's
just
a
her
fine singer.
singing though. She was like whispering things to him.
I'm getting your message. Are you getting mine?
And Art Carmichael That's not a real name. What's his name?
I'm sure there is somebody named Art Carmichael.
Like a carnival worker. Carney.
Art Garfunkel slips Grandpa this special like chip, and he says, "Hey, Grandpa, this is the good stuff."
Yeah, he does say that. Yeah.
I know your grandkid's in the room next to you, but watch this porn.
Basically,
It's
that's
a
what he
space
was
porn,
saying.
yeah.
Space porn. And so Diane Lane kind of was whispering sweet nothings to
Diane
Grandpa's
Lane?
stinky what?
Diane Lane?
It was Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
Buster Keaton.
Diane Keaton and Buster Rhymes.
And Buster Rhymes.
Anyway, she sings a horrible song, and the Wookiee, the old elderly Wookiee, is getting off to it.
And in his virtual reality helmet.
Yeah.
Which is basically just a 1960s hairdryer.
Yeah.
With a blast shield.
With the blast shield.
Also, it's weird. Like
With the blast
so,
shield down, I can't see anything. How am I supposed to fight?
How am I supposed to masturbate?
jerk off?
So that's a segment.
But also, like, can we talk about the amount of electronics this household has? They have the holographic table where we see the acrobats. They have the computer phone where they see the cantina. They have the other computer phone where they see Princess Leia. They have a screen in the kitchen where they see the cooking show, and they have a screen in the kid's bedroom where he sees the electronic show, and they have the virtual reality machine.
But the Wookiees live in a Swiss Family Robinson house in a tree.
Well, won't be able to take the trash out?
Wooden house with a space door.
I'm comfortable with that.
Which we should.
Whoa! What
Sorry,
the
I had a piece
fuck?
of ice. We should mention. Oh fuck! It was my tooth.
You spit it on my drink, dog.
What the fuck just happened?
We should mention that, as seen on the back of this holiday special,
yes,
the Wookiee houses or homes that are in the trees, which we think were inspired by Ralph McQuarrie art,
yes,
look very similar to the Kashyyyk homes that are depicted in Star Wars 3. And so one must wonder, did George Lucas know that whoever the artist was who did the artwork for Star Wars 3 was using the same exact imagery that was used in the Star Wars Holiday Special?
He probably did not remember.
You don't think so?
I think he approved this back at the time.
Yeah.
They put the artwork in front of him, and he's, oh, that's fine. And he went back to, looking at his bank account. And then a couple decades later, they showed him that exact same image for Revenge of the Sith. And he said, oh, it's fine.
I think Lucas is just fascinated with tree houses. Like his father didn't build him a tree house when he was a kid. Because the Wookiees live in tree houses.
Yeah, the Ewoks.
The Ewoks live in tree houses.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make up for the fact that he never had a tree house.
That's pretty good.
If you ever went to Lucas Ranch, it's got a sign at the door. It says, "No girls allowed." You got to climb up the ladder to get into the CGI rooms. I found it in Pixar right over there on that bridge.
Okay, so we've got fake Diana Ross sings her song.
Yes.
As the elderly Wookiee masturbates.
Diana Ross.
Diana Ross.
Not Diana Ross singing some kind of erotic soul song to an elderly Wookiee who's masturbating in a science fiction machine. That's not what comes to mind when I think of Christmas.
No. And then Mama Wookiee goes into the kitchen to cook some food.
Oh God!
And she watches a cooking program hosted by Harvey Korman in his Heart Beeps cosplay costume. Heart Beeps is a film starring Andy Kaufman and Bernadette Peters.
Mike is gone.
And this goes on for a very long time. Whip. What does he keep saying? Whip and stir.
Whip and stir.
Whip and stir.
Stir, whip, 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 stir. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Come on, faster all together now. Cooking can be fun. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Wah!
This is Harvey Korman, directed by George Lucas.
No, George Lucas is not directing.
That's supposedly.
He was not on set. Are you making up this mythology in your head now where George Lucas was on set every day?
It goes on.
He whips his hair back and forth?
He whips his hair back and forth for 35 minutes.
Yep.
That's where you wonder, like, did they just say, Harvey Korman, you're a robot cooking show host? Action.
He was an
and he just
alien.
made everything up.
That's what they said here, Harvey Korman, we're doing this comedy skit. And Harvey Korman said, okay, where's the script? And they said, what?
Yeah.
It's beat, stir, whip, beat, stir. That's not right. I'm sorry.
The Empire shows up. That's when they first show up.
Okay.
An officer, and there's 2 stormtroopers, and they show up at Chewbacca's house.
All right. Finish the search of the residence.
Well, they have to.
They're looking
apparently it's
for-
a daily rebel check. I don't know.
A daily rebel check to every household throughout the entire universe. But for some reason they go there, and we're going to go through all your stuff. And Art Carney is there.
This plot is more intricate and hard to follow than any of the actual Star Wars movies.
Anyway, Art Carney shows up and he has a box, and when he opens it up, the Jefferson Starship is playing in it.
Yeah.
And he says, Empire guy, Death Star Gunner?
Darth guy.
Darth guy with a black helmet. Watch this.
Darth Helmet.
This is a 1970s band, and they're going to play some kind of generic rock song, and you're going to like it.
And he did.
And he did.
Why is everything a space TV?
I knew you'd like it.
I didn't.
Can we all agree that out of all the musical numbers and entertainment portions,
Yes.
that the Bea Arthur musical segment in the Mos Eisley Cantina is the best?
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend.
Harvey Korman comes in and he pours liquor into his brain.
There's a setup to the setup.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, but they are watching it on a monitor.
But they're watching it on a monitor.
Time now for Life on Tatooine, brought to viewers everywhere in the hope that our own lives may be uplifted by the comparison and
Look at these people. They suck, so you should feel better about your life.
It's propaganda.
Yeah. And so then Harvey Korman walks into the Mos Eisley Cantina, and Bea Arthur gives him a drink, and he pours it into his brain.
Funny part is that Bea Arthur does that in real life.
Yes.
So the point of that segment is the song. I get it. Whatever.
I get it.
The important part of those songs.
don't
She
get
talks
it.
to Harvey Korman for like 5 minutes before the song.
And it's supposed to be like, do we know these characters? Like, they're setting it up like these are people we should already know, but we don't know and we don't care. And then I was just the entire time looking in the background like, oh, there's the Wolfman, or there's, Hammerhead, because all the regulars are there.
Yeah, were all those the actual masks and stuff?
They looked like it,
Costumes?
yeah.
Some of them might have been. Yeah.
Could have been.
Well, that was neat.
Just one more drop, friend, before we stop, friend. One more moment, face to face.
I want to say that perhaps that was the very first thing that they shot, or that was the first idea. Like, that was the first segment that they built all of it around, and they just ran out of steam after that.
They ran out of money.
They didn't run out of steam during that. They had a whole bunch of steam left over for when Luke was working with R2-D2. It was all over the place.
So after that, is that after that the animated segment?
I don't know the order.
I guess it doesn't matter. But okay, so then then there's an animated segment, which is the lumpy kid is watching it, and it's, I guess, a cartoon show.
Were you hoping the whole time that Lumpy got killed?
It did happen a long time ago. They're probably all dead by now.
Yeah, they're most likely dead.
A long time ago in a graveyard far away.
Yeah.
I think Mike's lost his mind.
Lumpy leaned a little too hard on his railing outside of his house. Stormtrooper tested.
So between like Empire and Return of the Jedi, Chewbacca had to go home for his son's funeral. And Chewbacca came home and he growled, "I shouldn't have joined the rebellion. I should have stayed home to raise my son."
Oh shit, I gotta go. Han isn't carbonite. I gotta go.
And Mala's just like, you always put Han before your family. What about Stinky over here?
You love him, don't you?
You have sex with Han more than me?
I'd say Han shoots first, but that's not exactly a benefit.
It's something. It's something.
That is really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
The talisman. It makes things invisible, I think. Yes, even you. Which I think.
So this is a fictional cartoon in the Star Wars universe
About the
starring
rebels.
Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
C-3PO, and R2-D2.
Yes.
How fucking unlikely.
And Han Solo, they mentioned. Oh, and Chewbacca.
Yeah. What? Oh, Leia.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying.
What happened?
Han Solo's face in the animated segment looks like it's about to fall off of his
Yeah,
head.
it's very jarring once you see Han Solo's face.
Yeah. It looks like Harrison Ford looks now. Oh.
His muzzle's hanging like a foot off of his face.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. It's a little weird, but
stylized is what it is. Like, and did you notice like C-3PO's body, where there's like
he had a tiny neck,
a tiny thin black neck, and then like his armor kind of hung around it.
And
It was neat.
R2-D2 contorted and bent.
What's the matter with R2?
So the whole thing was weird and a little
stylized.
surreal. Yeah.
Very interesting though, and the best segment overall.
You wouldn't count Harvey Korman's embarrassing how-to video?
Thank you for selecting our brand of mini transmitter. If you assemble it properly, following the instructions I am about to give you, it will...
He's appearing in an instructional video sketch?
No.
Oh.
But now, let's get started, shall we?
No, why not?
This is.
No, he's a robot.
Is this a Tim and Eric sketch? He's a robot.
He's supposed to look.
So he's glitching.
Well, but that's the thing, is he's supposed to look like a robot, but instead of having him act like he's glitching, they decided to edit the tape.
Yes.
Which makes no sense. He's an actor. He could just glitch.
Yeah.
And that would work better for comedic timing.
But the weirdest thing is that somebody thought this would be a good idea to include in some sort of holiday special is 15 minutes of a how-to video for technology that doesn't exist.
Now, find the circuit breaker module. And by the way, let's start calling these components by their proper names. Circuit breaker.
Can we just get that tongue clicking loop for 2 hours? The important part is that eventually Chewbacca comes home.
Yeah.
They hold up snow globes that makes them transport to an alternate dimension, we ultimately discover.
They wear red robes.
They wear, yeah, but not in the real worlds. That's when they get transported to the other dimension, they're wearing red robes. But that's
It's every single Wookiee, and also Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker.
Oh, and C-3PO and R2-D2 were there for some reason.
Oh, yeah. They went to the dimensions of robots.
And they also celebrate Life Day.
Yeah, they married in. Yeah,
We celebrate a day of peace, a day of harmony, a day of
Fuck.
I think she's
was such incredible shit.
They had to give her 2 nosefuls that day.
So whoever made this completely fucked up.
Well, the Star Wars theme is incorporated. That's amazing.
And it doesn't fit at all.
No.
It's like, this song is so bad. Just put the Star Wars theme on in the background.
It's one of the most epic fuck-ups in the history of humanity.
That's Chewbacca.
It's a clip show now.
Oh, he's thinking back to the things that just happened to him in the first movie.
Nope.
Boy, what?
He's thinking about Space Chess.
Why is he thinking about Space Chess?
He did really well.
Well.
It's a cultural artifact that people like to bring up and discuss and talk about, but I would not recommend anyone ever actually watching it. Watch like highlights on YouTube maybe, but sitting through it, it's really painful.
Here's the thing, we can't have a discussion about what wins best of the worst, but we can have a discussion about whether or not we think this is worth watching at least once in your life.
Oh. Jack?
If you are a big Star Wars fan and you consider yourself that, I think you need to see it at least once. Only so you can tell other people who aren't as big as Star Wars fans not to see it.
Don't bother.
You know, you need to be the aggregator for your friends and say, listen, it's because it's not so bad it's good. It's boring. It's very boring. But as a creator of content, it's fascinating how it all came about. But not fascinating enough where I'd recommend it to anyone else.
I mean, well, there's not much actual so bad it's funny comedy value in this. But, I mean, isn't there something to having said, yeah, I sat through the Star Wars holiday special?
Yeah, there's also something to say, yeah, I sat on a tack. You know?
Because other than the Star Wars name being grafted on this, there is no value.
I'm glad that I've finally seen it.
Okay.
Because I have never seen it. I saw 2 minutes of the opening with the Wookiees, and I was like, okay, that's enough. But I'm glad I finally saw it. Only if you're a Star Wars fan. Mainly, you know, basically if you're a Star Wars fan, to see it and then move on. It's really bad.
Yeah.
But it's almost beyond comprehension of how bad it is.
We have a strange overlap where we're both Star Wars fans and fans of really bad movies.
Yes.
And so if you're in this overlap...
But does this even make the fan of bad things tier? Because
It doesn't.
if this didn't have Star Wars on it,
Yes.
would you give it would you watch this beyond 1 minute?
No.
No, of course not.
That's what makes it an oddity.
If this were 15 years ago and the internet and all the information that we have now didn't exist, I would say this is worth seeking out. But now you can find out everything you need to know about it online without actually having to sit through it. And that's far more interesting than having to sit through it.
That is a great point.
Would you say that sitting through it is sort of like a rite of passage, or?
No. No, not at all. I don't feel like I have any better understanding of the Star Wars Holiday Special now than I did before we watched it. But or of like Star Wars and this place in, you know, pop culture or anything. I didn't get anything out of this other than boredom.
But you can't have any context of like the reading about it without watching it.
Yeah.
I think you can. You can see highlights. Watch a 5-minute highlight reel on YouTube. That's all you need to see. You don't need to sit through the whole thing. It's not worth it.
I think
It's not worth it.
I agree with Jack here. You need to sit through it.
I don't think you do.
I don't know that I was that clear, and I wasn't sure myself when I gave my answer. But I think I'm with you, Jay.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to sit through this.
You don't need to sit through this.
You
Not
can
in
just watch a highlight video.
In this day and age, you don't need to.
But you can't talk about something in context without having experience.
But do you need to talk about this?
No one needs to talk about this. No one needs to talk about this ever. But it's like you're gonna talk about the holiday special. you should have at least seen it.
Okay.
The entire thing, not just a clip. You can't just say, "Oh, I've seen the Bea Arthur song."
Okay, if you want to have a serious, in-depth discussion about the Star Wars Holiday Special, then yes, you definitely should watch it. Nobody should want to have that discussion.
No. It's like saying the desert is hot.
Yeah.
Yes, the desert is hot, but until you've walked through it for 24 hours with no water,
Yeah.
you can't truly describe how hot the desert is. You have to see the whole thing.
But you may find yourself in a situation where you are stranded in the desert. There's
the
never going to be a
Christmas special.
situation where you need to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. I think the consensus is if you want to see the Star Wars Holiday Special, you should watch the Star Wars Holiday Special.
No. Not just that.
Okay.
If you want to complain about how bad the Star Wars Holiday Special is,
Okay.
you need to have watched it from beginning to end.
That's fair enough.
If you have not, you have no right to complain about how bad it is.
Okay, that's fair enough.
It's a rite of passage.
Here's a better question now. Normally on Best of the Worsts, we destroy the worst movie. Obviously, we have 3 copies of the same movie here. Should we destroy this?
Absolutely.
I think we should study it and write a 500-page scientific article about it, and then destroy it.
Okay.
I do not think it needs to be destroyed because George Lucas allowed it to happen. And because of that tremendous failure on his part,
Yes.
it deserves to be not only destroyed, but in a best of the worst first, duplicated.
Oh my God!
You read my mind, Mike Stacklasa. Because I was going to say we should not destroy it simply because
It's
George
Christmas.
Lucas. We should not destroy it because George Lucas wants to destroy it. That's why it should continue on forever.
Are we gonna gift wrap this and just give it out? That's great! That's great!
George Lucas needed to be more attuned. He needed to be more in control. He needed to be more on hand and say, this is bad. I'm in control. Because he didn't.
Yes.
He has failed.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas miracle.